Good afternoon and welcome to the February 21st, 2017 episode of the Jess Strom Show. I'm your host, Katie Tutzlaw, back at it again. I have a great show for you today. Have two of our four freshmen on and have the opportunity to chat a little bit with Coach Jess Strom about this past week and also the upcoming week for the Vulcans and talk a little bit about regional rankings, PSAC rankings, and the national polls. So first and foremost, I want to introduce you to two of our lovely freshmen that we have on the program today. First one is Sherelle George, and second one is Gina Vallacorsa. Now, ladies, being freshmen and kind of new to the program, I know we've been at it a little bit, but I want you to tell the viewers basically who you are, where you're coming from, and what your major is. Sherelle, we'll start with you.
Hi, my name is Sherelle George. I'm from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. I'm an art major, and I attended the Charlotte Amalie High School.
All right, and Gina.
Hi, I'm Gina Vallacorsa. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. My major is accounting, and I went to Bishop Canevin High School.
And we are so thankful that you're with the program. Now, I'm saying Sherelle, but it's very awkward for me to do that because everyone calls you BB. Now, BB, how did you get your nickname? Tell us a little bit about how you got your nickname.
Well, in the beginning, my nickname was Relly. And just one day, my uncle woke up and started to call me BB. So everybody stuck to BB.
Yep, and then obviously Gina, we call her G, but I just think that's obviously short for Gina, so no need to get into that kind of story. But as we're moving on in the year, just kind of wanted to talk to you about basically what it's like to be a freshman on the Vulcan women's basketball program, and some different challenges that you have and some things that you like about Cal. So, Sherelle, we'll talk to you first. Obviously, you're injured with the brace on. Can you talk to me a little bit about what it's been like for you as a freshman to come into the program and then obviously have a mid-season injury? Can you talk a little bit about the challenges that you've had?
Well, the challenges that I've had with being an injured freshman is I wouldn't say it's challenges because I wasn't down about my injury because I was still a part of my team. I was still enjoying time with my team, supporting my team, so I can't really say it was a challenge. Just being injured and not being able to be on the court, that's the only challenge I see about it.
So you're kind of just missing being able to play and
practice
and get out on the court. So definitely understandable with that. And Gina, you've come in, to the program, obviously not injured and happy and healthy. Tell us a little bit about, the process so far that you've had. Tell us about the big difference coming from Bishop Canevin and then playing for Cal U, which is currently ranked number 3 in the country and obviously doing really, really well at 25-1.
The biggest difference is coming from high school to college is I played every minute in high school, and in college being a freshman, you have to work up to those minutes and work up to your playing time to be able to see the floor and just keep working hard.
Yeah, and sometimes that's challenging coming into a new system. You started when you were, you started, I think, all the way through from freshman to senior year at Bishop Canevin, and then coming into a completely different system. I remember, watching how you played at Bishop Canevin. And can you tell me the biggest difference that you think from the high school game to the college game? What is that for you?
Defense and talking. In high school, we never talked, ever.
Yes, and obviously being a defensive-minded team, that's something that we really, really encourage you to do on the court and something that we kind of talk to you about, being a little bit more vocal because we know you have it inside you, but if you haven't done it, obviously it's a little bit more challenging. Now, BB, what is something that you think that you have learned from the first semester here at Cal, now kind of midway through the second semester? What did you kind of learn about either yourself or about the process here at Cal U?
Well, what I've learned, I've learned a lot. Just from being with my team, I've learned everyone has a role, and it's I
can't really explain it.
Yeah.
Well, you know how it is. Your role is constantly changing. Your role is different than it might have been when you're in high school. Now your role is very different right now. Because of your injury, what are you doing now? What do you say your role is right now, BB, for the squad?
To keep the upbeat of my team, to keep my team going, like to just be the happy cheerleader on the side.
And you bring in that energy every practice, every game. We definitely hear you and we definitely see you. So I know it's much appreciated by the coaching staff and obviously by the players. And Gina, kind of talking about how roles happen and what a difference it is. What is some advice that you're going to give yourself moving forward after your freshman year? Say we finish this season. What is some advice that you think that you've taken or that you're going to bring into the next season from this year?
To keep the upbeat of how we play and everything, like just keep it going, keep practicing strong, keep playing hard. Just continue it throughout my next 3 years here.
And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, when you're younger. Obviously, you're still young, little pups as freshmen. But when you first started playing basketball, and you were, 5, 6, 7, and what were some of the dreams that you've had? Like when you were bouncing a basketball on the court by yourself, what are some of the dreams and the visions that you had when you were younger?
Well, my dreams and visions was to become the top, like just to be outstanding and be, like, as I get older, be who the little ones want to look up to. That's what
you wanted. And what do you think you have to do to be able to achieve that?
Push and continue to keep focus and stay on top of everything that I'm supposed to do.
Absolutely. With school and with basketball.
With school and basketball,
I hear
definitely.
you. And Gina, what are some of the goals that when you're younger, when you can think back, and I know it's kind of funny now, what were some of the goals and dreams that you had?
When I was younger, I always wanted to go play for Pat Summitt at the University of Tennessee. It's always been my dream. But like BB said, to have younger ones look up to you and want to be like you and just keep pushing yourself.
Now, did you have Tennessee stuff in your room when you were younger?
My whole room was orange and white.
So you're covered. So your thoughts on UConn? Obviously.
I hated UConn and Gino.
Yeah, well, that was always a big rival. Just a little bit on the personal side. Now, obviously, we had the opportunity to talk a little bit about basketball, but just to kind of get to know you more as people, when you're listening to music, BB, what are some songs that you like, and what kind of music do you like?
I like calm songs, just to relax the moment and set the tone. I like R&B, hip hop, throw in a little gospel.
Okay. What the people don't know though is that you rap. BB's our YouTube star with her rapping abilities, and which is completely obviously different than Gina. Gina, what kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to hip hop, R&B, country, and that's probably about it.
We know that you love Sam Hunt.
Yes. I love Sam Hunt so much.
And something about that I'm actually interested in this answer. If money were no object when you get older, and you could have a dream job in your life, what would it be? What is your dream job?
To have my own business.
What kind of business?
I ain't too sure about it yet, but I just know it's something. I just want it to be something that no one has.
And you want to be your own boss.
I want to be
I could
my own boss.
definitely see that.
Definitely.
Gino, how about you? What would be your dream job right now?
Right now, probably to be a basketball coach. I want to be a coach when I get older.
I could definitely see that. We both know that you both love basketball. We couldn't be more thrilled that you're with us as freshmen. It's been so much fun to kind of watch you all progress. And, special shout out to our other two freshmen that couldn't be here today. I know DJ Hahn is at class and Bailey Cooper is at class, and I know they'd like to be here. But one more question before we get out of here. If you were to play another sport, what would it be besides basketball?
I could say too.
You can say whatever you want.
I like volleyball and softball.
Okay. And for you, Gina?
Same thing.
Volleyball and softball. Well, that ends the first segment with our freshmen today. And in the second segment, we will come back and talk with Jess Strom and talk a little bit about the regional rankings, upcoming games. So stay tuned. And welcome back to the Jess Strom Show. Just had the opportunity to sit down and chat with our freshmen, but now on to the star of the show for the week in review, the main lady here, Jess Strom. Thanks for being with us as always. Busy couple days for the Cal U women's basketball program. I know this morning we were up at, I'd say 6:30, getting ready for the big meeting at the Rotary Club in California. Then had the opportunity to watch some film, had practice, and now here at the Jess Strom Show before we get on a bus and head out to clearing. Jess, can you tell me right now at this point of the year kind of how you're feeling and how you think the team is feeling during this grind time?
Well, I feel like February is a long month for us as coaches, and I know as players too. It gets long, but it's the best time of year. You know, we have 2 games left, and you do what you have to do. Obviously, we agreed to go speak at the Rotary Club meeting, so it's always nice to get out in the community and do things like that. And then the usual practice, film. You missed our workout in there, though, when you were saying
we did have a great
our
workout.
daily activities. But it's just kind of what you do. You know, days get long, but we're going to Mercyhurst tonight, and we play tomorrow. So you kind of just keep looking forward into the next thing.
And obviously, we just had the freshmen on, really happy with where they are in the program. So we had Gina and Bibi on, and then obviously Bailey and DJ were at class. Can you tell us a little bit about, where you think our freshmen are and how they progressed throughout the year?
Yeah, and I think our freshmen are all very different. They all have very different personalities, and obviously we're super excited they're at Cal. I think it's kind of tough freshman year because it's so different than high school basketball. Especially here, I think our program is very different because we play so different. And I think this year, too, is a tough situation to walk into because we have people that have been there before. We have upperclassmen that play a lot of minutes. So I know Gina said about, playing time, and it's very different, and it is, and it's tough when you're used to playing all the time. But I think they've done a great job of keeping their head up and coming every single day and working to get better and kind of understanding that minutes will come, but we do have upperclassmen that have been there before and played in big-time games and just trying to take advantage of any time they do get game time on the floor.
Now, do you remember anything about your freshman year? I remember it was, starting out was complete chaos when I was a freshman, kind of walking into a new situation, but just wanted to get your thoughts if you remember what it was like to walk on campus at Penn State and then join a program that was veteran and you stepping in. Do you remember anything about that?
I remember being very exhausted all the time.
Me too.
It's just a lot. It's a full-time job, and I know how they're feeling in this time of year. I think you can tell our freshmen have some heavy legs. But it's fun, and it's the best thing they always say about freshmen is they turn into sophomores. So next year I think they'll have a better understanding coming in of just how we play. And you don't fault them because they don't know until they get here. But I was kind of just thrown into the fire because we didn't really have anyone else to play my position. So it was kind of just get out there and try.
And that's a fire right there with Renee Portland being the head coach and being a point guard. I'm sure it was very, very interesting and a lot different than your Steel Valley days.
Yeah, makes you pretty mentally strong going through something like that.
Well, just getting back on course, talk about the week in review. Had a great week for Cal. 2 really important, all games are important at this time of year. But wanted to start out with the UPJ game that we had this past Wednesday. Score was 88-58. And can you speak a little bit about, just dropped my paper, and can you speak a little bit about, Jess, the game that we had and kind of your thoughts on UPJ?
Yeah, I think, we always focus on getting a fast start, and that always starts with our defense. Our offense comes from our defense. So there's a couple highlights. I appreciate that, Gary, putting that defensive highlights in there for us this week. But, like you said, every game is important. So it's huge for us to come out at home and get a win. And more importantly, start playing our best basketball at this time of year. So, I know Mickey had a lot of points this game. I know Sierra had a lot of points this game. So, when your high scorers are scoring when it comes the end of February and into March, it's always a good sign.
And obviously looking at some of the highlights here and, talking a little bit about Mickey Glenn with a monster game with 28 points, Sierra Barrett with 25 points and 8 rebounds. And something that we are going to talk about right now with Precious Martin with 9 rebounds and 5 steals. Can you talk a little bit about, how she's coming on in the second half of the season and kind of what she's bringing to the table here?
Yeah, the thing about Precious is when she decides she wants to play, she kind of is unstoppable because she's so athletic. She can play both ends of the floor. And I think, this time of year, seniors kind of understand they only have so many games left. So it's really nice to see her making that final push towards, the PSAC playoffs and then the NCAA tournament. Because this is all of them, the 4 of them, their last few games, of their career at Cal.
Yeah, and seeing in the highlights, a lot of transition points. I know it was a huge emphasis that we've had in practice. Can you talk a little bit about what we have done to get better and improving our transition game?
I think, we've worked a lot on passing, a lot on finishing against contact. We get a ton of steals, so I think there was a point a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we said, well, we need to get better at finishing. You see it actually right on cue there. Precious with a great pass in transition. Just focusing on it more. We didn't really do that much early, and I think we've definitely improved as the season has gone along.
And obviously in the third and fourth quarter, saw a lot of different faces that we've had or that we haven't seen recently have the opportunity to get in the game. Can you kind of talk about how important it is to get some of the young, inexperienced players some minutes, and then also what that does to people that have been playing big-time minutes?
Yeah, I think it's huge both ways because game experience is not like anything else. So you can practice, and practice is great, but until you get in a game and actually have those nerves and kind of overcome that, nothing is like experience. So that was huge for us, and to get some legs, some rest in the fourth quarter too was big.
And there was your final, Cal 88 and Pitt Johnstown 58. And moving on to Saturday's game versus Clarion, a 79-54 victory. Clarion's senior day, so a little change of plans in terms of how we warm up. Just kind of wanted to get your idea on how you thought we played and some things that you liked and some things that we can kind of work on moving forward.
Yeah, and going into Clarion, it's always a tough place to play, and it was senior day, and they have some important seniors, so we figured they would come out and be excited and want to beat us. But I think we started off really well again in this game, and it's always the same. We want to play defense, we want to score in transition. So if we do those things, and especially early, I think, it leads to good things for us throughout the game.
Yeah, and Shatera, obviously we're seeing that shot right there. A big game for Parsons with 24 points and 7 rebounds. Can you talk a little bit about her contributions to that game?
Yeah, I think there was a point, we started out really strong, and then we started to get stagnant. We started taking some outside shots, and I think Shaw really gave us a lift with her offensive rebounding. She had some putbacks. And that always gives us energy, whether it's Shaw or Sierra or Precious, they're so athletic. At any point, any steal and layup or offensive rebound and putback, it really gives us, the energy that we need. And I think it was really good for us because Clarion did make a run in this game. They came back a little bit, and we stayed focused, and we came out and then made a run of our own. So I think that was kind of our leadership and kind of showed our experience a little bit.
Someone else, obviously Parsons with the big game, but we would not be talking about Cal U right now unless we're talking about Mickey Glenn and 17 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and I know with her efforts, both from UPJ and clearing, that she won the PSAC West Athlete of the Week. Can you talk about a little bit how she's playing down the stretch here for Cal?
Yeah, and I think sometimes, we talk about everyone else but Mickey because we kind of just expect what Mickey does every single game for us. So it's kind of just a staple in what we do, but she's huge for us. Even in the Seton Hill game a couple weeks ago when we really needed someone to score a basket down the stretch, she was there. And I feel like she's played in so many big games throughout her career, and she's played in so many games, period, because she started very early her freshman year, that anytime we need something down the stretch, and now her senior year, I think, she's obviously our go-to.
Kind of getting the feeling in the last week and kind of the climate of the team that we're kind of making a little bit of a run here. It has a different feel. Obviously, our record has been great and moving along, but I feel like this past week was a huge step forward in terms of the energy at practice and the energy at games. Can you talk a little bit about that, Jess?
Yeah, and I think, again, that goes back to our experience because a lot of our players have been to the PSAC tournament and won the PSAC tournament and been to the NCAA tournament, and they understand that this time of year is the fun time of year. This time of year is why you work, from September on, so you can have the opportunity to win championships and to be in the NCAA tournament, which I think is one of the best experiences you can have as a college athlete is to play in the NCAA tournament. So I think they kind of know that feeling, and it's getting very, very close for us.
And this past week, obviously the NCAA released the regional rankings. And I just said that, so we're not going to jump there quite yet because we want to go to the PSAC rankings. But it's kind of an exciting week. The possibility of looking forward. I know we have 2 games left, but there's kind of everyone's sending some feelers out about what's next. So kind of want to talk about what your thoughts are right now with the PSAC standings for the West and the East, and here they are right now. So we have Cal still at the top, and just kind of wanted to see what you were thinking about in terms of the standings and people below us and kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty steady. Obviously you see the top 6 have clinched. It's just a matter of seeding now, but obviously we like to see ourselves up there at first, and then these last 2 games are really, really important for us because we play 2 and we play 3. So things can still change, but hopefully not too much, and we stay right where we are, and we host that game next Wednesday, and then obviously if SHIP wins, we know we're headed out to SHIP.
Yes, and then the East standings coming up, so if you take a look at what's going on in the West, and then here's the East, and we don't, until the tail end, obviously we keep a good eye on what's going on over the East, and we play some crossover games, but it's always nice to kind of see when you take a look over because we're always so focused on the West.
Yeah, and especially this year because the PSAC tournament is in the East. So, we always like to see where we might be, and obviously we have to win a few games first. But, and Shippensburg this year, too, is in the regional rankings. So it's important for that, too. We always like to keep an eye on what's going on over there.
Yeah, in the Atlantic region rankings, kind of what everybody looks at, we really get excited for. Jess came out with Cal being the top seed now and Virginia Union underneath and Wheeling Jesuit. And, looking at this, some teams that we're really, really familiar with, Jess, we have the opportunity to, play a lot of these teams, scrimmage a lot of these teams, and really get to watch them all year long and kind of see what's going on. Can you talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on the initial regional rankings?
Yeah, and I think it was pretty accurate of what I thought they were going to be also. And like you said, I've seen, well, obviously our conference opponents that are in the regional rankings, but I watch basketball all year long. So anytime it's online, I'm watching it. So I've seen all those teams play. But there's also one coming out tomorrow because a few teams have lost in Cent. So it might shake up a little bit. And then this is a huge week. The CIAA is done till their tournament. But for us in the Mountain East, things could still change.
Yeah, and this is obviously why everyone plays the game. You can even tell with the weather change, it has the feel of playoffs. And I know that on our end, I think everyone's getting excited to what we're looking forward to. But, we kind of got to put the brakes on it because, we have 2 regular season games left. Obviously, getting on the road to go to Mercyhurst, leaving early today, wanted to get a jump start out there. And then we have IUP on Saturday with Alumni Day and senior night or senior day. And So two huge games that we really need to focus on. Can you talk to me a little bit about, what from watching film and, having the opportunity to play Mercyhurst before, what's the game plan? What are we looking for? Obviously the win always, but, just your thoughts on Mercyhurst and the game coming up.
Yeah, Mercyhurst is a tough team, and it's their senior night again, and they have their top 6 players are seniors. So, they're going to be ready to play. I think how our game ended last time we played Mercyhurst, they probably do not have a very good taste in their mouth for us. So they're going to be ready to play. They're a tough team. They're scrappy. I think they play really hard. So it's going to be, I think, a good game. We just have to match their energy, their intensity. I think talent-wise, we're probably better. So I think it just depends on how we play.
And, one thing that we know about Mercyhurst is that they're going to just play tough. They have a veteran team with a bunch of seniors. It's going to be their senior night as well, so a little change in the schedule. But I think everybody's just really excited for this game, something that has been circled on the schedule for a long time. And then, right after Mercyhurst, IUP, and a big night, obviously, for the Vulcan seniors that have given contributions to Mickey Glenn, Precious Martin for 4 years, and then Lana Doran and Brittany Nelson for transferring in 2 years. So another huge game, but obviously time to take aside and recognize the contributions from them. Give me your thoughts on IUP and what you think of that game coming up.
Yeah, I think IUP is playing much better. They're kind of young. I think they're kind of clicking at the same time. At the right time right now. Towards the end of the season, I think they can shoot, they move the ball, they can pass. But for us, it is senior day, and we have some pretty important seniors that we need to recognize. But again, if we come out and play how we need to play and we know what we need to focus on, I think we'll be pretty successful.
And, coming to the tail end of the season, Jess, and getting ready to wrap up here in a little bit, tell me, what do you think a couple things that, we as a program need to continue to work and get better on as we move forward? As a coach, I think you're never content. You're happy with your progress, but you're never content. What are some things that you think as a group we need to continue to work on to get better?
Yeah, I think this team is very different. I think we were successful last year and obviously the year before. We're more banged up this year than we have been. So I think rest is really important for us down the stretch, which is hard for us because we're kind of go all the time. We want to push and go hard. So I think just limiting practice. We've been trying to go an hour. We've been making people get ice baths. We've been really trying to rehab because I think it's going to be huge for us to keep our players fresh.
Well, thank you, Jess, for your time today. It's always so much fun to be able to get to interview you. And folks, if you have the opportunity, would love to jump in your car, head on out to Erie. Tomorrow's game, 5:30 p.m. And then obviously Saturday, senior night, senior day and alumni day at 3 p.m. So would love to have you come and support the team. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And that's all for the Jess Strom Show.